Hey, greetings everyone. This is just a typical work day. So I am. It's not really. I mean, it's a live broadcast, but it's not like a group thing or anything like that. This is just me, and I'm just doing some work on the VSS, and I'm also doing some 3D printing, and so just a few things been on my mind, and I decided, well, maybe it'll help just to kind of stay focused just by doing a live video. So I'm just setting up this live thing right now. Okay, do I do show? Yeah, okay, I could do that. Okay, well, let me get started. I'll move it off to comments. It may take me a while to notice comments because I don't have a dual monitor setup. So the window I'll be using will be covering this. Uh, but I'll try to keep things off the side a little bit. Let's see, I'm gonna share my screen. Okay, share screen, application windows, SolidWorks, share. So anyway, this is just yeah. Now I'm full window, so I don't know if anyone is going to leave a comment or anything. Let me uh, let me see about resizing this. I can kind of keep an eye on the video. Maybe better yet, if I could keep an eye on the comment part. Let me move it here. And let me move this here. Oh yeah, I forgot. So anyways, this is a beam I'm working on. It's gonna go to the side of the VSS for the big picture. Here is deck 4. And deck 4 and deck 5 are almost the same. I'm going to be mounting the beam pretty much right where this blue part is, and I'm going to be getting rid of these areas here. And so it's going to be on the port and starboard side. Of course, this is the starboard side here. And let me go back to that. So this is the starboard beam. And of course, going to just kind of dress it up to make it look like some sort of strong I-beam kind of thing. And but right now what I need to do is work on this part. So maybe I can just yeah, this is good enough resize. So anyway, the program that I use the most is SolidWorks, and it's a true 3D modeling program. And it's also industry standard, so you can design real world items, bridges, cars, engines, devices. I know SpaceX uses it. Sometimes on their website they'll have, like, post your resumes and type of information, and some of the software requirements for certain positions is knowing SolidWorks. And SolidWorks is also used in the toy industry. There's a few people out there that also use SolidWorks to uh, computer stop. I was listening to music too. So there's also people who use SolidWorks to design dolls and other type of toy items, and it also works with molds. You can also design molds and do other things. It's a very powerful program. So anyway, I'll just get right to it. Let's see. Sketch. So, if I, well, you know, I'm just looking at the next step that I'm going to do here. So this is not a tutorial or anything like that. But you know, instead of me just being completely silent, I'll just be talking from time to time. So I'm going to make a little mirror here. Okay. I don't want to get too distracted on just doing the video when I'm trying to do this. So I will, you know, just do my own thing. But this, these keys. Oh, go back to StreamYard. Sometimes I get text messages and so it's, you know, it's like a regular typical day. Yeah, what I want to do is this here. This is called an offset, and I'm just basically duplicating the outlines with an offset value, so they're not overlapping. It's a very easy program to work with also. You know, if you're not into the engineering type of programs, SolidWorks is actually a very decent program, in my opinion, to shield a non-technical user from the technical side of things. But it can do a lot of the technical stuff too. So if you want to see, you know, like raw numbers and things like that, yeah, SolidWorks will satisfy that too. But if you're more interested in just doing a shape, you know, SolidWorks makes that very easy to also do. And I want to preserve these, so I'm going to make these into construction lines. Okay. I'm just going back, checking the work before I go to the next step. And it should have allowed me to go to the next step, which was making it 3D. Well, okay, it did. Okay, good. Usually, if it's just an outline and not and it can't render a 3D item out of that outline, it will just keep it as an outline. But as soon as all the points are joined and connected, it'll change the inside color, indicating that you can render it into a 3D part. So here, edit this. I gotta do this a total of 4 times. Port side, starboard side, 4 corners, 4 parts. Let me see if I can do things a little bit easier. Do this. I want to mirror this. Oh, come on. Entities, mirror this. You can see it over here. Okay, I also want to mirror this. And this. Yeah, this was a little bit faster than going the other way. I want to make this into a construction line. Okay, and selected. Yeah, good. Since I'm doing this port side and starboard side, I need to switch over now to the port side and do the same thing. And sometimes it gets, things like this get monotonous, and but you know, sometimes things, you know, sometimes just can't avoid. Uh, Mirror. I want to mirror. That's going to be my mirror line. What do I want to mirror? I want to mirror this. I want to mirror this. And I want to mirror this and these things. I can also select, box in multiple lines, but I don't want to duplicate the construction lines on the inside. Like if I were to mirror this one, it's already here, and then I'm going to have two. And then I'll have to go back in to remove the duplicate. And sometimes I'll forget, So going to select that, draw this line here. I'm just checking. Oh, the bottom. I need to put a bottom part. Let's do the same thing. Same strategy. I don't want to mirror that. This is a good line to. Oh, don't want to mirror that. I want this to be my mirror line. Let's see. I want to mirror this piece, this, that, and the insides here. I don't need to watch it, so I'll just do this. Okay. I think I'll just delete this. I want to mirror the top part too. Oh, I'm just selecting them, sorry. What do I want to mirror? This and this. Where do I want to mirror it? About right there. Okay, here to here. Here to here. Okay. And I gotta do this one more time before I can move on to other parts. Right here. Sketch. I don't know if you can see the sub windows, little pop-up windows that appear with many choices. But let's see, what do I want to mirror? Well, let's mirror this first. Mirror about here. I want to mirror this, that, 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 that. Oh, can you all even see what I'm doing? Let me. Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah. So you can see. Okay, good. I thought maybe I was covering up a window. I mean, not covering up. Sorry. Sometimes you gotta select. Oh, no, nothing here. Sometimes you have to select what type of layout you want this thing to stream. So you can see me, you can see the screen at the same time. And forgot. Well, I forgot to actually to verify that you can see the window that I'm working with. So this is okay here. Now I'm going to mirror the outside. Okay, almost done with this, and I can move on to other pieces. I'm using the mouse wheel to scroll in and out of the zoom. And I'm just verifying. And do that. Select it. Make this into a construction line. Okay, let's see. Good. I don't see any errors. Now I'm just going to increase this piece here. Sketch, sketch, line. This. Yeah, one of the printers is getting low on filament, and it's halfway. And I think I got just enough to finish this one print on this particular machine. Got the other machines going. I got to start the machine that's behind me. Computer, turn on 3D printer 2.
Okay.
I have my Amazon Echo turning on or off the different machines, and I got more printers in other rooms so I can turn them on and off all from this location. Uh, in this room, excuse me, 3D printer 2 is this one. Have room on the table for another printer, so that will be 3D printer 1, which is currently in another room. But I haven't moved that other printer to here because these tables, they tend to, they're sturdy, but they tend to move back and forth when the printer does a lot of back and forth movement. So I want to replace this table with a more sturdy one. And so, I'm prepared to put both machines here. But, in terms of the routines for echo and all that. But anyway. So with these machines, I always do um, a leveling procedure first. Basically, the print bed is pretty flat, but sometimes heat or other things kind of bend and warp the metal just slightly, but just enough that the machines can, it'll be printing something and it will lift off the build plate because it's uneven. So, it might look even, it might feel even, but it may still be uneven. So, the leveling process on these machines, it's always smart to run them at least once before every print. Um, on the smaller machines, sometimes it's not necessary, um, but on these larger machines, sometimes they are. So on this machine, it's going to map different points. I think 16 points. Yeah, 16 points all around. And it will determine, how high or low uh, the parts of the build plate is. So when this gets done, then I'll start the print on that one. So back to this. Okay, I'm going to extrude part. The way SolidWorks tends to work is you make an outline, which they call a sketch, and then you extrude that sketch. And at that point, it becomes a 3D object. Okay, so I'll save this and I'll go back to the starboard side. And I'll do the same thing with starboard side. And then I can move on to a more interesting part. So select the sketch item, select line. There's been a lot of work done on VSS 002 recently. And I'm trying to make these components available on the Dial Warrior store for whatever project you want to apply to for yourself. It doesn't have to be a VSS. It could be um, a headquarters, some other item, some other project. And go to up to the surface about here. Okay. So that's good. Now I'm going to save the work. Okay. And now I'm going to begin the finishing touches with this. So it's going to be printed like that. So the bottom is going to be on the build plate, and the printer is just going to print it up. Let me okay, let's see. Yeah, just okay. So I can get rid of that. Okay, so it's going to be printed this way, going up. So what I need to do here is brace these areas because this is going to be printing in the air. If you can imagine, there's no support for here, so the printer is going to be throwing material, and then it's going to realize, hey, there's nothing here to support this, and then gravity is going to start pulling down the plastic towards the middle. So I need to put little supports. However, this is a nice looking techno beam that I'm designing, so my supports are going to be built into the model. So what I'll do here is go to sketch there, change the orientation, and I'm going to start in the middle. Stuff from here to right about there. This is going to be a construction line. I'm going to do an offset. I'm going to make this 2 millimeters thick. So it's going to go 1 because it'll be from here to here. That's 1 millimeter. So bidirectional. I'm going to use end caps. I can make end caps like that. And I'm going to say this is good. Then I'm just going to, let's see, I'm just going to put a guide here for my own purposes. Well, actually, don't truly need it. So I'm going to take this. I'm going to not select the construction line. I'm going to make an array, a linear array. I am going to set it up. Okay. So I'm going to set it up at 20 millimeters separation. So, there's a distance of 20 millimeters. Set up several of these. Okay, this is good. And I'm going to go okay. Shows me there's a count of 5. Now I'm going to select these. And I'm going to select that. And mirror this. Done. Now, so since I'm doing this at the same time to the other beam, I'm making a copy of this. So now I'm going to extrude this. Extrude where? Up to the surface. Where? The bottom surface. Okay. Save it. Switch over to the other beam. I'm going to select this area here. Sketch, sketch. Change the orientation. And now I'm going to paste. Paste this right up to the origin, right there. Now I'm going to go features, extruded. up to the surface right there. Okay. Now, so what I'm going to do here is, well, I'm going to save it. So what I'm going to do here is take this plane. I'm going to cut an easy way instead of doing that. I'm going to chamfer this. I'm just going to take any point. I'm just going to see. I'm going to reduce the amount. Let's say 9 millimeters. Well, let's say 8 millimeters. Okay, let's say 8.5 millimeters. Okay. So then I can select the edges. So now there's a nice sculpt look to this beam. So when it prints, it'll print like this. So when you look at it, it's going to have this, this industrial look. Let me do the same. Let me save this. I always save quite often. Back in the 80s, late 80s, I was working with AutoCAD, and back in those days, you wanted to save your work often because programs would crash more back then. Mostly because back in those days, with using PCs coming from the DOS era, DOS itself was limited in memory, so you can only have like so much RAM on your system, and so people were coming up with ways to throw more RAM into upper areas of the system, extended RAM and things like that. So a lot of that also created unstable situations. And then programs would sometimes try to access the memory that is assigned to, well, not assigned, but the memory that another program is using. And so that would create a conflict and a crash. Let's see. So select this. Okay. I'm going to put an end here. Of course, there's other situations that would create a crash back in those days. Another situation that would make a crash, obviously, is unplugging the machine. So back in those days, people used to not get emergency battery backup systems. I'm going to make this 2 millimeters thick and go that direction. So anything that would disrupt power to the building, the office you're in, the house you're in, all that would cause power fluctuation and would crash the machine. So, unplugging it basically. And so back in those days, especially where I'm from New Orleans, we used to have a lot of thunderstorms. Sorry, a little distracted. Go there. And so, whenever the, thunderstorms, there's a lot of wind, a lot of rain, and a lot of lightning. And power lines, being above ground, especially in New Orleans, you'll have trees touching and hitting the power lines. The power lines will sway back and forth with the wind. Um, Lightning strikes someplace and there's a power surge. All sorts of things could cause a disruption to your power. You'll either suffer a blackout or a brownout or some sort of power fluctuation, you know, or a power surge where, there's a lot of power going through the line, and that can just kill your machine. So people used to take risks plugging their computer directly into the wall without anything in between, such as an emergency battery backup. Uh, so you used to do work back then, and anything could disrupt your your work. So we used to save quite often, like do a part save, do a part save, do a part save. And although emergency battery backups are more commonplace these days, still, now it becomes a thing where the operating system or something affects the operating system and creates a, a crash. Easy to say, operating systems these days are more complicated than they were back then. Windows is controlling much more than DOS did. Okay, save this. Now I'm just gonna take a step back, and kind of just look to see what I'm doing in terms of the aesthetics. I want to have future growth with this part back here. So these parts here, I want to have future growth with this, but I don't know what I'll put there. So for now, I'm just going to leave that area blank. Okay, the items are saved. And now I'm going to switch view to VSS, step 4. I am going to, how do I want to do this? I'm going to remove this. What do you want to call it though? Well, not call it. I'm going to remove this. Actually, let me not remove it yet. Let me just go ahead and suppress it. Just in case I want to, just in case I have an error, or some other problem, I want to come back and fix it. So let me try replacing this. So I'm going to replace this, replace components. This is a little experiment here. Starboard side. Okay. I don't know, so I'm just going to say okay. Let's see what happens. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and undo. Control Z. So I'll do it the old-fashioned way. Let me go ahead and just suppress it. Old-fashioned way is just to add the component manually and set it up. So I'll put it, it's back there. Move component, rotate. Okay. Now I need to mate the component, so I'm going to mate that surface to this surface. Oh, sorry. Mate that surface, okay, to this surface, okay. So most likely this is going to be applied by glue. So far, I'm debating about putting some screw holes to reinforce. This is going to take a lot of weight. Make that surface to here. Make this surface to there. Move this out the way. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Delete this, yes. Delete this, yes. Now I'm going to it'll be easier to do it from here. Mate. 0.2. Won't be able to see. So let me go ahead and not select this. That. To here. This. Here. Oh, sorry, I need to put the separation. And now this all the way inside. Okay. Same thing with this. Delete. Yes. Delete. Yes. And I will move this out of the way. Make there. Zero 0.2. Okay. Now to the bottom. 0.2. And go to this. Okay. Yeah, better. And of course, way inside there. And separation of 0.2. Yeah. I also need to do that other final separation on the top side here. So let me go to the mate section. This one. Distance 0.2. Yeah. See, there's a little separation there. Okay. Oh. Okay. So this being starboard part here, So I'm going to have to, I want to add more things here. So I'm going to have to maybe widen this area a little bit, not all the way. Yeah. So widen this area just a little bit here, a little bit there. And I probably will do that later because I'm not quite in the mood. That way I can put some reinforcements into this area. And I can eventually, basically make it strong enough to support another beam going outwards. Or what I want to do actually is I want to make an angle. I want to come out at like a 45-degree angle out. I want to make an angle out this way, 45 degrees, or something like that. Why? Just for the aesthetics of the thing. Let me do this port side. So let me go ahead and get rid of this. Yes. 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 And I'm going to suppress this. And let me go ahead and insert the port side here. Change the view. Okay. So let's say, well, this might be easier if I do something like this. Watch. Let me go ahead and mate the top. This surface to here. Okay. Now I'm going to rotate it. Because if not, it's a free form rotation or something like that where no side is fixed. So it can bend like this. You select a side, and as you move the mouse, it rotates, and it could go like that. So I'm doing rotating with a surface that's fixed. Makes it a little bit easier to kind of just rotate like that. I'll select this to here. Actually, since the other side looked good, I'm going to go ahead and delete this rather than suppress it. So no, my bad again. I went to the outside. Delete. Select that. Would I be able to get to it? Yeah, I can get to it. Okay, good. Zoom in. Change the 0.2. Okay. Select this. Distance 0.2. And this side. Okay, good. There. Here. to here. Zero 0.2. Why am I doing them 0.2? Later, I'm going to be doing a rounded corners on the inside of those things, so the angles won't be at 90 degrees. So to take into account that they're no longer flat, there's now it's going to be a little spacing, and that spacing is going to be about 0.2 millimeters. I think, yeah, it was here. So I'll come up to here. There. 0.2. Okay. I guess from the bottom. Oh, sorry, my bad. Okay. And let's pull this out a little bit so I can select that. 0.2. Select this. And just make sure it's not all in the wrong direction. So let's see, how does this look so far? Save. Okay. Excuse me. What I'm going to have to do next is take a look at the grand scheme of things and see how this looks with the engine room connected. I really am going to have to make some holes on the side of the VSS to kind of clamp the engine room into place securely, because all of this won't have the traditional VSS roof. So, okay, it's already saved. Let's close this. File, open. Nah. Oh, right here. Deck 4. I don't know if you can see this. I don't see it on the screen. But here it is with the engine. So I'm loading the file now with the engine. The updates are not there yet. So 300 components so far. Rebuild, yes. And now you will see the change. Yep, there they are. So I need to, these are going to be launch tubes. So I need to space the launch tubes out. Okay, so I have it fixed somewhere. So yeah, I need to space them out. Well, let me see. I don't want to have the launch tube so far. See, this is what I was getting at with. Let me change the view. Oh, top view. That should have been top view. So this is what I was getting at. Here's the beam that I worked on just now. So I was thinking about have another beam go 45 degrees all the way up to about here. So this is about 45. So that would push the back of the launch tube up to about here. Ideally, I would like to get it either right here to this supporting wall, or to the the supporting wall has the window. So yeah, right there, that would be ideal to get it right next to the window. So I would have to do another beam, probably right here, to give some support back there, support back here. Have this, probably have a support beam going up this way, and another beam at 45 going this way. The reason why going at 45 is just because it will kind of look nice overall if the ship here will not just have a truncated area. In other words, try to put some sculpting into it, rather than a boxy look. The whole thing that I'm trying to do with VSS 002 now is to give it a non-boxy look. So with the engine component, it's got these beams all here. I'll be adding windows or something like that in this area. So I still have to work in this area, adding some more beams to the outside. But so it's got beams top and bottom. It's got some beams on the inside of the engine room area. You can see the warp core there. And I do have to make some modification to the warp core because it's too tall. And modifications will not be difficult. So I need to make these. Need to reinforce this area here. So I need to put some beams in this area. And I need to put some decorative beams on the outside, just like these orange ones are. They're functional because they'll be very strong, and they do support, and they do add they do add a lot of support, but they're also very aesthetic. That's their second role. So I need to add something like that here, maybe thin like you don't see it, huh? Thin and small like these. Or I could add these thicker. Thing is that the thinner ones print faster. And you can imagine how many hours it's going to take to do each one of these things. And this is just getting started. At each of these points, I probably will modify, like maybe this beam, another middle beam, or maybe each beam. So that way I could add, make it easy to add a structure onto the beam itself. I could put a weapon turret, maybe 2 weapon turrets back here. Same thing as on the bottom. And it would probably be a good idea to add machinery, maybe at an angle. Things, I don't want to say pumps, but yeah, machinery on the outside of the VSS. And then the machinery itself is going to need some armor protection. I don't know if I'm going to get that level of completeness done in time for Joe Fest. So I was thinking also maybe some catwalk between the machinery. All that is being supported by the beams, top and bottom. And that means that the sides, the port and starboard side of the VSS is going to have the beam structures as well. And that will allow me to add additional structures, mostly for the aesthetics. The inside is going to have some beam work, but not as much. However, the ceiling will have to have some joisting, so that's going to be a bit of work there. So anyway, let's get started. What do I do? Oh yeah, so what I want to do now is move the launch tube. The launch tube is going to be, well, this is actually just big enough for a Cobra stiletto to fit in. I don't remember the length, but I don't have a part. But a Cobra stiletto should probably be about from here to maybe a little bit past here. So, okay, first thing I gotta do is get to the mates section and begin to look for the launch tube stuff. That's it. So maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. Oh yeah, I am looking at the wrong thing. Let me save. To help design this, I started to design each deck as a separate assembly. So as I add things to the deck, I just update certain assemblies. And when I bring up a more completed assembly, the previous assemblies kind of propagate, and you can kind of, in other words, I can work on something in one assembly, use that same assembly in another file. So whatever changes I make on the first one, the second one also carries those changes. So I can have many changes, and I can work anywhere in between, and the final file is going to have those changes carry over. So let me close that. Let me close this. I don't think I need to work with this one right now. Close this. Close this. Open. Launch tubes. Yeah, here's launch tubes. So open. So this was the assembly with just the launch tubes. You'll notice it's going to update. And there it is. There's the beams we worked on. So now all I have to do here is, oh, it's got an error. Where's this error come from? Oh, sketch. I can ignore that. It's the outline sketch that I did. It's not doing anything except just being an outline. I'll just ignore the error for now. So I'll go to the mates. I want to find which particular mate is, looks like there's some suppression going on. Yeah, so the parts are suppressed. Okay, for now, let's just not even make them to anything. Let's go ahead and just change the view. Let's get this like right about, I guess, right in front, right about here. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my measurement. It's a bit off. This should be more here. So I got to go back and verify my measurement there. Right now, I'm not too concerned about how far back I put this at the moment. Not until I start making a beam, then I'll become more concerned. So that's good there. Let's go to the other side. Let's change the view. That was there. That was here, right? So that one. This can go about right about here, more or less. Then let's take a look at it from the top. Okay. I just wonder. Just kind of thinking. Does this look nice? Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I have an idea. I got an idea what I need to work on next is going to work on this area. Going to change the view to there. I am going to suppress this for the moment. Well, before anything, let me go ahead and save. Save, rebuild, and save. Okay. Oh, come on. Taking this time. Okay. So I'm going to select this. I'm going to suppress it. So it's still connected. It's just that it's what's listed as what's called suppressed. The part is not deleted or anything like that. It's just kind of removed. Sometimes errors will occur. Other parts that are dependent on that part will also get suppressed. So it's like a chain reaction. So now I'm going to I'm going to select this. This is my little technique. I'm going to go sketch. Yeah, give me a little warning. I'm going to go ahead and no, I'm going to start with these ovals first. I'm not quite sure which one to do, but I'm going to do this just in case. I may not need this section. These are ports for attaching additional components. And what I'm going to do here is make another beam that's going to go on the inside structure. I probably don't need to go any further. Reason is because I'm going to have to like maybe cut it right about here and make another beam later on that this is going to be hinged, so it'll be able to swing up. But in the meantime, I need to make this support beam. So the easiest way to get the measurements right and everything is to just go ahead and trace where it's going to go, and then make an extrusion around that. So let's say from here to here. Actually, I want to cut it right there. So let's say at 5 millimeters. Yeah, that's good. So let's say at 5 millimeters there. So let's go ahead and do the same thing from here to here. Let's go ahead and cut it. Make this from 5 millimeters there. Oh, how's that print? I think I have enough filament to finish that print. I gotta do this 3 more times. Go here to here. I'm gonna have to go a little bit more because getting the proper angle is not so easy at that point. So, there it goes. There it is. Good. And then trim it. Now, I'm not going to mirror anything. I'm just going to go there. Oh, construction line, sorry. Let's make it to the actual line. Construction lines are basically what they sound like. They are just to help position pieces, determine measurements, act like a guide. So when you're putting your stuff together, you can just use them as a guide. That's good there. Just for the new sketch that I'm working on, I'm going to have to define an area where it's going to be the origin of the part. So this will be the origin right here. And let me go ahead and, oh, not done yet, not done yet. Why? Because I need to do this. Let me do a part here. This is kind of tricky. So this is good, this is good. And I'm going to go ahead and use a circle as a guide. So I'll make the circle into a construction. And I'm kind of winging it at the moment with all of this that I'm doing right here. So here to here. And because I'm going to cut and paste this structure from the beam. And let me copy this right now. I won't be able to paste it. I mean, I can paste it, but I won't be able to drag it. Oh, no, I can't drag it. So what was the length? 7.2. So go here. And I can choose 7.2 right there. Okay. Delete this. Yeah, so this is kind of winging it right here. What was this? 7.2 also, okay. So let me do another one at 7.2. Let me do it 7.2 here. 7.2. And then from there, I'm going to do 45 degrees. Come on. 315. Okay. Do I want it? Yeah, 45 degrees is always nice. Extend. Okay. And I'm thinking. How thick was this? 5, so it's 10 millimeters thick. Yeah, maybe for consistency, make this 10 millimeters thick. So just 10. Okay, well, that's where 10 millimeters would go. Of course, it's not 7.2 there. This would be 7.2 about here. I do want it thicker, I think. Maybe for the aesthetics, maybe it should be kind of like right in the middle, right here. That kind of thing. Maybe. We'll see. I'll delete this. I'll work with this for now. So here I go to cutting grass downstairs. So copy all of this. Yeah. And for now, I'm just going to keep this sketch. It probably will generate an error later on, but save this. So in case I have a problem, I can come back to it. Okay. File, new, part. Okay. Front plane. There. Sketch. Sketch. Paste. The origin is going to be here. Okay, now I need to go. Let me open up that beam. Open recent. Oh, what happened to it? Should be there. Okay, well, let me just open up the window. There's the beams. All I want is one of them. Doesn't matter which one. Well, since I'm working with the starboard side, let me work. Let me get the starboard one open. Okay. So let me go to this one. Edit. Oh no, wrong edit. Okay. Edit sketch. Copy it all. Close it. Switch over. And paste this. Okay, I think there's a lot of stuff that, let me just, I think I'm going to delete some things, but copy. But let me just paste this to the origin here. So that's where it'll be. So let me go ahead and get rid of some of these construction lines. That's probably good enough. Okay. Make this into a construction line. I'm just thinking how it's going to connect. See, I'm thinking, I'm wondering, future design, as I put these things on, is it going to interfere, or do I need to do like a partial, like, for example, just end it right here and let the thing connect right, just right there. In other words, maybe I need to delete these. Let me build up the structure now. And let me go ahead and, instead of stretching this line out, I'm going to go ahead and just do it like that and trim. Only because if I need to cut and paste this again, by having the line stretched out as one line, it's going to just cause me a little bit of a problem later. Delete this. Just a little bit of inconvenience later. Okay, so far I don't quite like it, but we're just beginning to work on it. So let's see how it goes. Let's make this as an extrusion. 10 millimeters is usually the go-to. Mid-plane, so starts in the middle. Let's kind of indicate that it's a beam. I'm going to just change the color. So this is, for anyone who is watching what I do with the VSS, I've been posting blog entries. And if you notice, some of the stuff I'm going back to the beginning. And I am working again, kind of like round 2 from the beginning. So this is round 2, but this is the final round. This is the stuff that I'm going to commit to printing and laser cutting. Let me save this. What is it going to be called? Oh, I need to put it into the launch tube folder. Okay. Version 2 launch tube. Yeah. What do I call it? This is, I can use this on both the port and starboard side. Now, what do I call this? Kind of call it launch tube LP. Upper beam. 1-1 in case I have a different version. Just try that naming scheme. This is very simple, okay? Very simple right now. If I like it, I'll go back in and I'll sculpt out other beam-looking things, reinforcement-looking things, kind of make it look like an I-beam. Let's go to assembly. However, this itself right here is an assembly. It's an assembly called launch tube segment. So let me go to launch tube segment. Open that assembly. Launch tube segment. Go open. Yeah, okay. Is that I need to, because I use it on both port and starboard side, and this segment is neutral. I can just use it on port and starboard side. I'm just thinking, do I need to make a copy? In other words, make this segment into a starboard specific or a port specific segment. Let's see. Assembly. Oh, sorry. Insert components. Upper beam. Okay. I'm going to insert 2 of these. Insert components. Upper beam. And I am going to maybe I could have, I may have to make a little adjustment, but I'm okay at the moment. This is a print that's going to an order that I need to get out ASAP. So you can see it's taken a while. I might be able to print another segment with the remaining amount of filament I have on here. Checking on this. Checking on the other printers. Everything takes time. Yeah, everything takes time. So, okay. What I can really use are more printers. So I want to take this and I want to say mate it to this side here at 0.25. This to there. This to here. Same step. Mate this here. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Save this. And let's go to the previous and take a look. So I got on the wrong side. But it's correct on this side. Well, what I can do here is launch tube 1. Let me look at the other mates on this, and I just rotate it. I'll keep that. I will delete this one. Delete, yes. Now I'm going to go ahead and just rotate this component. Find a good spot to rotate, let's say right here. And rotate it like that. Let's go back to mate. But this time, you know what I should do instead? So let me go ahead and delete the other mate here. Because since I'm now adding these components, they're going to attach to this component. So right now, this is all freeform. It's not connected. So if I say, yeah, there's going to be a problem here. I'm going to have to, I'll show you what I mean in just a moment. So I'm going to select this surface. Right here. Okay. 0.2. Okay. And select this. To here. So 0.2. That's good. Now what I think I need to do is cut it right here. And I'm thinking maybe I should do this piece down there. Or do I want to make one big long piece that go all the way down? I make it one big long piece. Would the strength be there? Well, the aesthetics won't be there because I'm going to need to make a part that's going to attach from here to there. So that means I'm going to have it's going to attach some. Okay, so anyway, I think I can get by extending this to right about here. Actually, I'm having second thoughts on it. I think I'm going to leave it alone. Yeah, I think I'm going to leave this alone. This is good. Look at that. Yeah, this is good for now. I'm going to leave this alone. I'm having second thoughts in terms of how these parts are going to connect in the future from this point. So, but I need to trim that off there. So let me go ahead and take a quick look, see how it looks on the other side. Yeah, so it's getting a nice little sculpt shape to it. Non-right angles. It's going to have a lot of 45 degrees. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I do need to put an extra piece there. Need to, so I have to print out another rail over there. 3D printed rails, that's the way to go. Print them any size you want. Strong too. Did you know PLA has a bending, or I'm not quite sure how it's called. I have to look it up for the right term. But it can withstand 7,000 pounds of pressure per square inch. Not pressure, sorry. Ignore that part, pressure. Let's see. Well, I'll look at it later. But PLA is actually quite strong. Just that it has a low melting point. So you don't want to use it for automotive things, not where it gets exposed to, like, the Arizona sun or something like that. But it's actually quite strong. Or should I say, quite strong if conditions are correct. Because, a lot of it depends on how the part is printed. If it's solid, if it's hollow, if it has a percentage of infill, if the shape, things like that. Because a square, you could have stress points. So let me go ahead and trim this piece here. How do I want to do this? Well, we could do it right here. So let's put this piece back. Put this piece back. Yeah, so all this is construction, construction, construction. Construction. Now I'm looking to see, okay, this is going to be solid here, solid all this, solid all this. How come it's not? It's like, let me see if there's any error. Okay, good, no error. Save. Okay, let's go back and take a quick look. Yeah, you know, if you want him to ask me a question, make a comment or something, ask me what I'm doing, feel free. So really, I need to make another piece here. This eventually, you know, so I'll make another frame part there. This is going to be something I'm going to have to do to make this eventually into a hinged part, or maybe I can make the hinge part back here. In any case, I'm still going to need a frame piece. This is where, you know, there's a lot of small parts that get made. I really am going to need some sort of peg system, you know, to kind of put things together. You know, this is a peg system, but what I mean is I'm going to have to, like, get a printer to just devote to do nothing but pegs, because, you know, these are, there's going to be a lot of pegs on this project. Not every peg is going to be, you know, not every peg port is going to require a peg, but there will be need for quite a bit of pegs, quite a bit. Um, this is where I could use my injection machine to make the pegs. And injection machine is in Texas. Got to get that working again. Or maybe for here I could get a small uh, tabletop injection machine, you know, bench top, just one with a lever. I could just put pieces, go choo choo choo. But for the price of one of those, I can just get another machine, and then I can just have that machine print. But then again, too, you know, maybe it'll build up my arm muscles, you know, pulling that lever, whatever. So anyway, let me continue. Um, where did I have that sketch? Down here. Is it here or is it at the other side now? It is at the other side. Wow. What I could do is this much. Little trick. Let's go to view, hide, show sketches. I can see all sorts of sketches there from the past. Why? Because I want to work with this right here. So let me just go ahead and go sketch, change the view to here. That's weird. Huh. So obviously one of the sketches has an error. Which one? Let me it'll get distracting. So let me just go ahead and delete this. Delete. Okay. I need to. Well, okay. If you remember the measurements, we don't need. Let me just go ahead and just hide the sketches again. See, I was going to use the previous sketch as a guide, so I don't have to think too much. But oh well. Sketch. Go here. Remember, we worked on that one. So I'm going to go ahead and add uh, basically an outline to this, to this, to this. That. Now this one, I want to make it easy to just simply print and attach. So I'm not going to worry about doing this part right now. I might need it, or it might be better to use it in different parts. Specifically, doing this part here, which I think I'll do at a later time. Okay, so let's just go ahead and finish off these ovals here. An easy way is just do this. Watch. Do that. Do this. Here to here. And then I can go back and trim. Now remember, it was 5 millimeters we did from the outer end, so 5 millimeters. And I want to make a little space. I got my reasons why, so 5.25. Okay. And this one I could just make 5. The same basic idea. 5. Almost done. Oh, oh, come on. I want it to be at 270 degrees. Okay. Yeah, it looks straight. Let's do the same origin where the previous one is at. Yeah. So how about that? Okay, good. Now I'm going to go ahead and copy all of this. Copy. Yes. So I'm beginning to think a little bit of the bottom part. So let's keep that. And let's quickly make another part. File, new. And then we can go back and take a look and see how the overall thing looks. So here, paste. I mean, now paste. Okay. Extruded. 10 millimeters, mid plane. And I'm going to change the color. I'm getting close to finishing up here. I need to switch gears to maintaining some printers. I think I can get one more print out of this particular printer. Okay, so let's go ahead and save this. What do we want to call it? Okay, I'm just going to follow the same naming convention. LT for launch tube, upper beam, 2, 1. So version 2, maybe release 2, version 1, whatever, revision 1, version 2, revision 1. Version 2, version 1. I guess you could say version 2.1. Okay, so let's add that part to the assembly. I'll have to rotate, obviously. Insert component. Rotate. So let's rotate here. Let's rotate here. For anyone who might be curious, I really enjoy doing 3D modeling. I've been doing it for years, and back in high school, was doing programming back then. A lot of people who know me from high school don't realize I was also getting involved in the virtual reality scene. And although back then virtual reality was a luxury item, really, all I can really do back then for virtual reality was just try to do things in like AutoCAD, because they were getting into Autodesk was getting into virtual reality for architectural and things like that, and read up on the magazines. And a magazine magazine back then, I don't know if they still exist, was called Cadence magazine. So, and that was basically the magazine for people who did AutoCAD or any type of CAD, but especially CAD on the PC, and so Cadence magazine would have articles about virtual reality, and so I used to read up and study that a lot. Oh, what happened here? Oh, That one looks uneven. Okay, so this to this. So when in college years, people were getting involved with website stuff. So HTML was hitting everyone's interest. People were coming up with uh, websites on shared platforms. Back then, one of the social media platforms back then, early on, was called GeoCities, and people used to make their home pages on GeoCities. So it became like a little fad, and they would have little tools set up for implementing HTML and uploading pictures to your GeoCities homepage. I think GeoCities eventually got bought by someone, and things began to change. Um, yeah, that looks good. How does this one look? Okay. But back then, a couple years later, another format started to make their way into the mainstream. It was called VRML, so virtual reality markup language. So you could do your web page in in a 3D environment. So this is all very very primitive back then, but browsers were able to support VRML, and people started to make VRML worlds, and even Microsoft got involved, and there was like this virtual reality community that was all done in like a VRML type of setup. I don't remember what it's called, but you had these little avatars. You're able to go into different rooms, and rooms were large environments. Some of them they had graphics uh, for like floor, platform, trees, fountain, walls, structures. Others were basically like a formless cloud environment. And the further out you went, the more you faded away from view. So basically, you're like drifting into the cloud, and it was fun. But back then, the computers were not as fast as they are now. So memory requirements, speed requirements, plus internet requirements. People were still doing things with dial-up modems. So every time you made a movement, it took a bit of time to refresh. So that means that the graphics were not very detailed. Everything had to be quickly redrawn and refreshed, and information had to be quickly sent over the phone lines. But let's take a look and see how this segment looks. Okay, look at that. It's beginning to shape out. So at this moment, all the stress is being taken up there. Maybe here I want to do a small one from here to here to attach there. So that way, uh, well, this is where I need to begin to do a test. So what I would need to do is, before I really continue, now for the aesthetics, I can continue and make another beam part here. But the separation between this piece and that piece might be an issue when it prints. So I'm going to have to print this first, and at least one of these first. Since I already have the rails already done, already printed, I don't have to print those. But and then I'll have to see about setting things up on the VSS itself and begin to test. But for aesthetics, I can go ahead and make a part. But I think I'm going to hold off on that for the moment, unless I don't know. I don't know. I can't hold off too much because I got to get this stuff done. Hmm. Decisions. Anyways, let me find that beam that I had suppressed, and where did it go? Maybe I don't have it here. Yeah, I think I have it on the other. Yeah, there it is. But let me go ahead and unsuppress it from here. Yeah, there it is. Okay, and remember, I need to push this back. So it's about right about there, something like that. Mm. Yeah, something like this. Approximately something like that. So this doesn't look like 45 degrees anymore. Not from there. So 45 is going to be up to here, maybe. It'll still work. Then I'll just have to decorate this part up here, maybe some greebles. Okay, so let's change the view. Go ahead and save this. Yay, this print finished. Other printers are going still. Where's my knife? There it is. Okay, yeah, I'm waiting if it's time to get this particular print done. Rebuild and save the document. Yes. Let's go ahead and I guess I can close this file. I can also close that file. And now, of course, these I have to kind of decorate a little bit more, but I'm not going to do that just yet. I want to kind of see what I'm going to do as a whole before I go back and I start to decorate these parts. Same thing with this. I don't like the way this looks here. I don't like to have, especially for parts that take a lot of stress, right angles. So I'll have to reinforce these areas and, curve them out. So let's take a look at the overall shape right now. That's launch tube. Is it here that I want to take a look at? Not yet. Let's go back to deck 4. with engine, because that looks nice. Rebuild. So you can see uh, the overall shape. Oh, I just need to open the door a little bit, get some current. Hmm. Someone sent a message. Let's see. No messages yet. So feel free to send me a message if you're curious. I kind of want to take a break, so I might split this into two parts, continue after the break, kind of thing. But I'm not sure yet if I'm at a good stopping point. So let me just do a little bit more. Maybe I need to prepare a little bit more, and then I can go ahead and stop. Uh, yeah. So all of this is I need to laser cut these things here. This I need to laser cut. Oh, excuse me. So I'm going to need to do another beam, probably the same look, the same aesthetics. This to over here. But I'm thinking maybe I don't need to have this with this other beam yet, because I'm not quite sure what I'll need next to this bar. So what I'll do, I'll copy this beam here, and I'll just make it so that the rail can pass through. That might be a good point to kind of stop once I put it here. Might be a good point to stop. So, but you can begin to see how the shape is beginning to kind of match the engine room shape. So I'm kind of tempted to, instead of doing that beam, I'm kind of tempted to do uh, another beam here instead. Just a simple straight beam. Because it's beginning to look nice. So, yeah, it's beginning to look nice. To cover up this area here, either I'll put some ports, some one of these ports for pegs, either here or maybe inside, like one of these. But yeah, might be inside, might be better, because I'll tell you why. I could have an inside part to strengthen these two halves, and if I could have ports on the top as well, which I can easily do, then I can even put a part that goes all the way across and give strength there. So that way this part could have something going all the way across, this one all the way across there, and these two pieces being supported there. Why do I want to have things on top? I want to put greebles, and I want to be able to put equipment as well, piping equipment. It's more playable areas for photography. Um, more interesting structures. So when I go back to take more photos and stuff, um, I won't be, it'll be more interesting eye candy. And instead of reusing the same scenes for different parts for different photos, it'll provide me more material for more interesting photo. For example, imagine a catwalk system on top. Imagine occasional sensor arrays being connected to the top. There's all sorts of reasons why uh, you want to use greebles and other things. What's nice is that if I want to extend and attach another launch tube, I can duplicate these over here and just put them on this side and do another beam for the interior, make it a little bit smaller. What I need to do on the bottom, I'm not sure about how they're going to connect to the rails yet. So let's just assume that the rails get connected with maybe the side beam here. So I have the bottom floor part. I want to start working on this quickly because to do a launch tube with a catapult system for the stiletto, it's going to have some mechanical pieces. Oh, that reminds me, I may have to make another piece like this without this vertical part because I want to be able to move the stiletto in from the inner hull into the launch tube. So I can't really do that with these um, pieces in the way. So that has to open up. So yeah. So in other words, this is all one piece, a launch tube segment. So I'll have to make a copy of the launch tube segment and one with a different piece there, and then kind of replace certain segments like this one. Replace this one with the updated segment. I could probably keep the rest the same. Mm, it's easy to make file after file and part after part. Let me save this. Let me start the next print on this one. One more. Actually, I gotta do two more. But one at a time. Okay, it's saved. I'm just thinking. Trying to imagine how this looks. Let's take a look at another view. Close this. And let's open the one with the next cluster of actually a more complete VSS, one that has more decks. Let's try this one. This might not be a good one, but since it's showing me an older thumbnail, This is how things were so far. Rebuild. Okay, this is not. I don't want to save this. Don't save. This is old. I don't want to cause problems by saving it. So very quickly, I do need to update the new stuff. So let's see. Uh, let's go ahead and open the assembly with the engine room. And I'm going to open the assembly with the walkway that goes around. I am changing the deck structure. So the launch tubes are in the middle deck, and the bottom deck is going to have the walkways, but the walkways now are going to be looking upside down. They're not going to be right side up like they were before. So open. That's deck 5 now. I'm trying to organize my folder structure, so you'll see me referring to things like deck 4, deck 5, things like that now. So, oh, I need to update the files itself. I don't have everything updated. But for our purposes right now, let's go to walkway. Open. These walkways are quite large. The reason is that they're going to be loaded with stuff on the inside. So when you look at this, for example, it looks quite large. A figure is basically about the height of this. So that's about here. So you can imagine having a floor. So the figure is probably no more than here. From the ceiling, and from the floor to the ceiling on the VSS, it could take 2 figures standing one on top of the other. It's just enough to put a second floor, but not really enough headroom, head clearance. But to imagine it, you can put 2 figures one on top of the other. So this walkway is almost as tall as that. The reason why it's so tall is because on the inside I will put other kinds of bulkheads, more aesthetic looking bulkheads, equipment, things like air conditioned ducts, other equipment. So all that it's going to take space. Computers on the wall, things like that. All those things will take space, and I want to have enough room so 2 people, 2 figures can walk side by side. And so this will be the width of the floor. The rest is going to be for the the um the cosmetic stuff, things like bulkheads and things like that. Although I'm not quite sure how it's going to look as a walkway with these slanted bulkhead parts. Slanted frames here. But I hope it comes out good. If not, it'll be back to the drawing board and a lot of printing. You don't have to make up for lost time or any changes that I do. These basically take 1 day to print. So you can see how many each one I have. Each one takes a day. So, yeah. So, anyways, okay. I don't know why this thing is listed as needs to be saved, but I'll save it. And then I'm going to open. I think I'm going to open the file that I did not save. with that view. Only because I'm going to replace components without having to reload stuff, without having to do it manually. So engine room assembly, disconnect, delete. Launch tubes, okay. Walkway, okay. So I think this is the walkway one. Okay. The 4 launch tubes, I'm going to say down here, replace components with deck 4 engine. Then I'm just going to select OK. It's going to ask me about connecting where I want to connect the mates for the assemblies. I say OK because it looks good. Fingers crossed, everything looks good. Remember, this error part is coming from a sketch that is generating the error, so I am not worried about this. It's not an error that's from any of the 3D parts. So what I'll have to do maybe after the break is work with the bottom section. I don't want to work with it too much because the top section is giving me the inspiration on how the bottom is going to look. So I do need to replace this area with another beam. So I'll put another beam down here, starboard and port. I will need to see about making another beam like this, but one where the rails can pass through, and put it like right about here. And same beam, but put it right about here. And then I'll have to see about making a greeble part. And it may not be 3D printed. It may be just something that's going to be laser. So maybe it'll be with ABS plastic. I'm not quite sure yet. But I think I also need to put another, it's not a beam, but it's some sort of support between the two beams. So I may have to design that. And then maybe an ABS sheet for greeble there and there. Now, how will the walkways connect to the launch tubes? Will there be a connect? I think it would be a good idea to put some sort of connection, but I think I'm not going to have a connect. I think they will be suspended with as they are. Let me change the view so we can see this a little bit better. Yeah, let's do that view. Let me do the other view actually. I want to see the engine room right here. Yeah, look at that. Save. So with this, the space between the launch tube on top and the walkway on the bottom is very small. So I am thinking just don't connect them physically together, because when I want to access the interior of the VSS, I am going to have to remove a launch tube or remove a walkway. And the way I will remove it will be by sliding it out. And so I'm still working on the sliding parts. So there may be some adjustments in the future as I work a better mechanism. I would like to have the sliding part done on wheels so they kind of just slide out. But we'll see how that goes. But this is just enough space to put some greebles. I could put, greebles to make it look like they're connected, but they actually won't be connected. I could put some greebles where maybe the launch tube back over here may come in physical contact with a greeble for the walkway in order to do support. So there's less stresses being pushed down. What's this? Oh, I know what that is. It's one of these walls. So I wish I can work with the bottom of the VSS. Like maybe get some wood or something and make a long support piece, and then that way I could even put support structures here to kind of support the walkway. That might be a future project. Because another thing is, I would love to be able to add these type of beam structures to the bottom of the VSS as well. But the bottoms could be resting like on a table or something, so I may not be able to do that. But I want to, so we'll see how things go. I do want to put more 45-degree components, but I don't think I'll be able to do that on this. Not unless I want to change the way the walkway is going to be, and I don't want to do that right now. Now, the top is going to be covered. It's going to have this type of structure on top. Then there's going to be another flight deck. The sides are going to have their own issues. I am going to design a piece where this can probably have a 45 of some sort come up and kind of support the engine room, because there's going to be a lot of weight back here, back in this area, and that's going to push this structure down, put a lot of stresses over here especially. So I'm going to probably put some holes to kind of clamp the engine room physically to the MDF wood right there, and I'm going to have to design something here, and also I need to design a door opening. Maybe it'll be a ramp, maybe it'll be something that opens up, or maybe both, to close the rear and also close the front, something similar. And of course, launch tubes need to keep things clear, so this is going to have some greeble structures all inside. The walkway is going to be a different issue because I don't have to worry about launch tubes, keeping the area here clear. So it may just come up a little bit more. Walkway might come up to right about there and terminate. Or maybe I might be able to kind of taper and gracefully have the thing join the front here. Anyway, thinking this could be an area for sensors, communication arrays, and maybe if the thing is strong enough, which I believe it will be, put some sort of large weapon system, big huge cannon, a big rail gun or something like that, anti-spaceship thing. Well, with that, I am going to go ahead and take a break, and let me just put this in a position that might look good in the thumbnail, and save this, and close it. Save all. Save all. It's a big project, but it's mostly a lot of small pieces that need to get designed. The other big thing would be to print them all. And that has me a little bit worried because I am full in terms of orders, in terms of printing those things. And so I probably will have to have the machines running like 24 hours for the small parts to get things out. And I need to get more machines. And I do have some older machines that I'm going to have to use again. And I'm not quite sure what I'm going to use those with. I need to print using a special filament, extra strong filament for the inside um, bulkheads. And these will be extremely large, and so they will take a lot of time. So I probably will use some of the older printers, and using this particular, extra strong filament, and I guess just have those printers do that. Anyways, I am going to take a break, and either I'll do part two today or maybe part two tomorrow. I do need to spend some time with working on the orders, so I will switch gears. And I thank you for watching me this far if you are, and if you're not, don't feel bad. And thank you, and I will see you all again. Okay. All right. Thank you. Hey, bye bye. End broadcast.